good, you guys? Rasati out here in Singapore. I'm back, baby. So, like I said before, in the last episode, I definitely did write down topics of things that I want to talk about. It's something I've always done. When I get inspired by something, it might be in the middle of the day where I'm not really in a position to be able to run off and record in my room real quick. So, I really write down things I want to talk about. Sometimes I'm smart enough to put down the title. Sometimes I'm even smarter and I put down the title and where exactly I got the inspiration from so I can go back and get in that zone again before I record. And sometimes I don't do either. And it occurs to me, and I'm like, oh my God, that'd be so awesome to talk about. And then because I get sidetracked and distracted, I completely forget. So with that in mind, I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about the law of attraction again. I honestly was thinking that all you had to do was think about the things you want. You focus on the things you want. You don't focus on the things that you don't want. And that's it, right? I mean, I'm an amateur. I'm not here manifesting thousands and thousands of dollars yet. I'm working on it though. But the law of attraction, it really is a matter of taming your mind. It's very difficult for us because we're taught to kind of contradict everything that we think in the immediate seconds after thinking about the things that we want. And sometimes it's taught to us through our parents or through school. Sometimes we do it to ourselves because we suddenly decide we don't deserve any of the things that we want, right? So for those of you who are interested, I want to talk you through exactly what goes through my mind sometimes when I'm thinking about the things that I want to achieve in this life, the things that I want to go ahead and conquer, master, or put out there so that the rest of the world can enjoy my work. Because, very simply put, the law of attraction will work if you put your mind to something that you really, really enjoy. You enjoy the feeling of having what you would like to have. You dream, you daydream a little bit, but in the same token, you got to hold that thought. You got to hold that thought and that feeling for 17 seconds. I've heard it from 17 seconds to all the way to, 60 seconds. Just daydream and really enjoy the feeling, and then you need to let it go. But what do? We think about that. We can daydream. We can daydream for hours at a time. I mean, I know people that sit there and look at text messages from old flame and daydream all damn day. Okay? But here's the thing. When you daydream, it's not always thinking about the good things, the good aspects, the benefits of having that person in your life, the good memories you shared. It's a toss-up. It's a seesaw. You go from the things you loved about that person and that one time that they really pissed you off, and I can't believe, why would I even want somebody that would treat me this way? I can't believe, they really did not understand me. But you know what? They did send me flowers every year on my anniversary, and they did remember my birthday, and it's the little things, right? I mean, don't sweat the small stuff, but it is the little things that make up the details of a beautiful life. And I still can't believe that after all those years that I spent with them, how could they treat me this way? Was I not clear enough on the things that I loved? And did I not explain to them the things that hurt me and the things that really, destroyed me on the inside? I did give them every chance to change, right? And so you see, in those few seconds, I've seesawed between the good, the bad, the ugly so many times so that the universe is probably a little confused with what exactly it is that I want. We are not good at holding a thought, and that's where meditation comes in. We're not good at focusing on one aspect of something. I think I've said this before, several times. When it comes to meditation, you're supposed to be mind clear, heart in sync, body still, and calm. But to get to that place, man, the monkeys that are in your brain that jump from one idea to another, it's kind of difficult, but that is the point. We are so driven to multitask. I mean, every job description nowadays will ask you, are you able to multitask? Can you deal with a busy office environment? Can you keep calm during a storm? Is basically what they're asking you. Can you still get everything done in the 8-hour shift that you have? Honestly speaking, it wouldn't be a job if you can get it all done in one shift. Obviously, it's a job because this is something that's ongoing. It will never be done. But the thing they should be asking you is, are you good at time management? Can you focus on one thing, get it done, and then move on to the next thing? That's not a skill we were taught very often. So that's why meditation has become so important, because we add so much chaos to our days that we can't sit still. We can't focus. We can't get shit done anymore because we'll be in the middle of a really, really great assignment. We're in the groove, we'll get into it, and somebody will call, somebody will WhatsApp, somebody will send you an email that's pressing, urgent. You got to put this to the side and get this done now. You could be at home focusing on your parents, your children, your husband, your spouse, whatever. You could be chilling at home trying to get the housework done, and suddenly there'll be something that comes through on email or WhatsApp, and it's urgent. You got to do your work at home now. So I'm saying, Apparently the law of attraction works. But it works if you can have a really clear thought, enjoy that thought for a small amount of time. I mean, 17 seconds is nothing for real. If you think about it, this podcast episode has been going on for now, 5 minutes and 15 seconds. All right? But if you can have that one clear thought for about a minute, let's go with a minute. We could do a minute, right? Really enjoy that moment. Really indulge in that memory or that idea, that piece of imagination of what the future would look like if you had the money you have or you want to have, you have the clients you want to have, you're making the impact you're looking to make. If you could really get all those things done, right, and not have a contradicting thought in the process, then the law of attraction will work. Now that sounds like a catch-22, but it's totally doable if you can train your mind. And honestly, the contrast is necessary. You need to know what it is you don't want in order to really pinpoint what it is that you do want. I don't want tons of money that comes through my hands and goes right back out. I've done that before. And honestly, it was my fault because when I had the big paycheck, I suddenly had big expenses that didn't make any damn sense. Because if you look at my life right now, where I've pared everything down, none of those things that I spent money on are still with me. They were fleeting expenditures that didn't mean anything, but at the time I convinced myself I really, really need that. You got to go get that now. It was like home shopping network. I bought things that didn't make any sense because I could. But think about that, the law of attraction. Like attracts like, right? And sometimes your like starts off with a contrast in thought. It starts off with, you know what? I don't want to have to sit through traffic and get to work only to sit there for 12 hours, come back home through traffic and try and unwind, but can't because people are constantly bothering me with various aspects of whatever. Maybe you're a frontline worker. Maybe you're middle management. Maybe you're a consultant. Maybe you're the CEO. You're in charge of everything. But there is a limit to every job title there's supposed to be because there's this thing that you're supposed to have, which is work-life balance. So maybe your law of attraction moment starts with, you know what, I'm fed up. I don't want to be surrounded by people who can't make the next move without asking me 10,000 times first. They can't think for themselves. They can't anticipate my needs. They don't know the first thing about work because they're so used to taking instruction. So what does that mean? If I'm tired of being surrounded by these people, it means at some point I hired them, and at some point, whether I trained them or didn't train them, this is the quality of my work staff at the moment. So if I made those decisions as the CEO, let's say, right, isn't it also in my hands to change the atmosphere of my work? Which means I can either train these people to think for themselves and give them a couple of contingencies when they're stuck before they come and ask me, or I can replace them. Which means then my law of attraction moment is, universe, send me a sign or help me manage this crisis because I don't know what my next move should be. And usually, pretty fast actually, you'll get your answer. Somebody will message you with something that either sends you off the deep end or shows you that there is hope after all, and all you need to do is mold their minds a little bit, train them a little bit more, give them more tools that they can help themselves with. Let's say it's a relationship and you're in a position where, you know what, you love this person to death. They've become every part of your life. You've built them into your everyday life, but you're recently understanding or realizing that, you know what, you don't enjoy their company so much. It's becoming one of those things where you really worry about them affecting your peace or holding you back or limiting your moves in your life. Maybe you're the kind of carefree spirit that really wants to do really well for yourself. You've been through a lot of trauma and you've kind of pulled your life together, and you know what it takes to get to the next day. You know what it takes to master, your life, your schoolwork. Maybe you're in school still. Maybe you're, looking for that next degree to really set your career off. But the person that you're with is not on the same level as you. And try as you might, you've tried to explain all these things, but it doesn't work out. So maybe you start with the contrast. I love this person, but it's just not working right now. And before, there was this clear line about, what's mine and what's hers, as far as my life's purpose and her life's purpose. And maybe you've been clear about the fact that, you have been through a lot, so you're really doing this for yourself. You finally found something that's just for you. And as much as you want to share the triumphs and the conflicts that you go through on that part of your journey, they need to understand that this is still your journey and you need to accomplish this in order to be happy. But maybe avoiding them more often than not is telling you something about the relationship. Either you fix it or you walk away. Maybe it's a parent-child relationship. Maybe you're in a position where, you know what, you're teaching a child as much as you can. And right now, they just don't seem to see eye to eye with you, and you fight about everything, and the fighting is causing a lot of tension for you and a lot of tension for the child, and maybe you need a third party. Maybe it's an aunt or a grandparent. Maybe it's another person, like a family friend who can come hang out with you guys sometimes to kind of like ease the tension or to break up the conflict. But whatever it is, you notice there is a problem, you start with the contrast itself, and you imagine the best possible solution that might help your child. Because at the end of the day, they are a child. So sometimes with the law of attraction, you need to start with the contrast. But more than that, you need to be able to daydream what it is that you want for your future to look like without conflicting thoughts. And now by that, I mean that you talk yourself into the things that you could have, and you don't, with the same breath, tell yourself, but you're undeserving, but you haven't done enough to get there, but you're afraid of what people might think, so you probably shouldn't do that, and but your family may not agree with what you've chosen to do, so you're going to keep it hidden and under wraps. You're not going to tell anybody what you're really doing with your time or your money. Those conflicting thoughts, the negative talk, the self-talk that goes on within your mind, those are the real culprits of why you don't manifest as quickly as you could. Why? Because you've convinced yourself with the same breath that you're not worthy, that you don't deserve, that you're not the right fit. You're not like everybody else. You're not like Tony Robbins and Maston Kemp. You're not as great as Oprah is. And she had different circumstances, and how could you possibly get to where she is with your life? Your life is nothing like hers. You didn't suffer like she did. You got more suffering to do. You're not eligible for the kind of beautiful, happy, fulfilling life that you envision. You still got some shit to go through. You can convince yourself of those things all day long. But once you do, you kind of deny yourself that aspect of dreaming and being able to manifest things quickly. Have you ever noticed that you can manifest things that you really don't care about pretty damn quickly? I've heard of people that are like, you know what? It would be so amazing if I won this giveaway, because I've never won anything before in my life, and it would be so great. And they're just manifesting. They're in the zone. They're adding things to the vortex. They're really, really excited about the things that they could achieve. And with the next moment, they're like, yeah, whether I win it or not, it's okay. I'm all right. Let's work on the next thing. So they're back to work. They've daydreamed for a little bit. Right? And they can go back to work, back to focusing on something else and completely different. So they've left that thought alone. They've left it to kind of like take root and spread wings and all of that at the same time. But a lot of times the things we really, really, really want, we have conflicting emotions over. So how do we fix that? How do we get to a place where we're not conflicting the universe with what we want and what we don't want in the same time? What we want and how we don't deserve it. What we want and how we could never reach there because we don't have the bone structure or we don't look that good. And, how could he still be attracted to me? Because look at all of his fan club out there. Like, I'm just one in a million, right? I'm not anyone special. We convince ourselves of what we don't deserve all the time. But what if we could drop that part of it? What if we could learn to daydream and really enjoy that daydream? Like we really enjoy one song, without reminiscing about where you first heard the song or the bad memories associated with that song. What if we could really like belt out a tune, enjoy the moment, and then move on to the next song without any problems? What would the universe be able to tune into then for us? What would the law of attraction look like then for us? And that's what I want you to consider. Yes, we all know how to daydream, but we're really good about telling ourselves we don't deserve it. We're all good about noticing the contrast because we're taught to spot the differences, right? We're taught to focus on the things that we cannot control sometimes, and that's why we end up complaining so much. But what if we start with the contrast to really pinpoint the things we really want? And once we've nailed imagining what we really want, what if we could just let it go like that? Like blowing a bubble and letting it just set free and float into the air, and then we move on to the next bubble. What if we could do that? The law of attraction would work a lot better, a lot easier then. There would be no cogs in the wheel that were stuffing up or rusting out. There would be nothing in the process to kind of slow it down. It would kind of just happen, right? Think about that. Anyway, for those of you who do or don't know, I am a big fan of the law of attraction. There are a couple of books out there on the testing of the law of attraction. It's kind of like a social experiment that you can do at home, which there is a guided book for. And I really, really love those books. So I will link them in the comments below. But in the meantime, I really hope you take to heart what I've been talking about, because whether you realize it or not, we are very good at talking ourselves out of opportunities, talking ourselves out of why we should deserve things. And that's something we really do need to change. The way we talk about ourselves, that's powerful, more powerful than you can imagine. So I hope this helps you guys. I will catch you again soon. But in the meantime, y'all take care. I love you. Bye.